Hello there, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another In the Studio with me, Donny Carr. In this episode, we're going to have a look at the HAAS effect and the issue with this technique. I'll also be covering some alternative methods for achieving a similar result without the negative effects. Okay, HAAS effect. The HAAS effect is a technique where you would delay either the left or the right channel from a few milliseconds up to around 30 milliseconds-ish or thereabouts. And in doing so, you get a pseudo stereo effect or a widening effect. But there's some issues with this, which we're going to get into. Okay, so I have this rim shot here, which we're going to use for the example. Let's apply the HAAS effect to this sound. So I have a copy of this rim here, and let's enable that. This is panned all the way hard right. Let's pan our original hard left. So essentially we have the same sound. I mean, if I was to mute the copy, put the other one, original, back to the center, you have the same sound. Okay, so on our copy here, what I will do to achieve the HAAS effect is just go to this little wrench tab, and under this time tab here, I'll use the shift knob to shift it back in time to get that, pseudo stereo effect. So boom, you hear that break apart there? That is the HAAS effect, as the right channel is just slightly behind the left channel. If you push it too far, kind of beyond that 30 millisecond point, then we start to hear it as two different sounds, and that's not what we want in this case. Let's dial that back. So back to mono or the original, and then the HAAS effect there. Now this sounds good in stereo. It's a cool little effect, but the issue is, if I was to play this track back in mono, or collapse everything to mono, which I'll do now, we get this flammy stutter phasing effect, which is not ideal. That's probably not what you want in most cases, and that is an issue. So I'm going to show you some alternative methods of widening out a sound or getting some more stereo width with this rim shot here without getting that nasty phasing effect. So the first one is, let's take the shift, put the shift back to not there, and instead of using the HAAS effect, what I'll do is I will pitch either the left or the right channel instead of pushing the time back. So let's pitch the right channel by a few semitones. So let's try, you could experiment. I usually go for, 1 to 3 semitones up or down. You could experiment with pitching it up, pitching it down, and how far you want to pitch it. But let's try 2 semitones. I'll pitch it down. So there's our original. Pitch that down. Let me turn the volume down a skosh. And we already got a wider sound there. Original. So that's a quick down and dirty way to achieve some extra width, and if we collapse it to mono, we play it back in mono here, we don't have that issue like we did with the HAAS effect. So that's one alternative. And the next one is simply using a different sample on the left and on the right. So when I do this, a lot of times I try and pick a sound or a sample that's very similar but still different enough to get that nice stereo width. But you can experiment with picking samples that are quite different. In this case, I have this rim shot here, and then our original that we've been using on the left. So let's hear that. That's already in mono, so we've got a nice stereo sound there. And as you can hear in mono, we have no issues at all. So there you go. There's a couple super easy alternatives to the HAAS effect where you don't have to worry about getting that nasty kind of slap back, flammy phasing effect. And that issue is more likely to happen with short percussive sounds, so be wary of that. I used to use the HAAS effect on drums when I didn't know this was an issue, but since I found that out, I never use the HAAS effect on short percussive sounds. If I was going to use the HAAS effect, I would maybe use it on sounds with a softer, longer attack, like maybe a pad or something, or an atmosphere or something like that, perhaps. So that's what I wanted to talk about today. And it is still important to have your tracks translate to mono. I mean, I'm making club focused music here, and I think maybe a lot of you watching this probably are too. And a lot of club rigs are still, operating in mono. Your phone is in mono. Maybe a lot of like mall systems or in the grocery store or something, they use mono systems. So it's still important to have your track translate to mono. I mean, if I was to use the HAAS effect on like my main clapper snare in the track and have that issue where we're getting that like slap back phasing effect, and I was to play it in a club, like I would be like devastated. It would be horrible. So I thought I would, share this for those who maybe didn't know that was an issue. Hopefully you found this video useful. That's it for this one. Say hi in the comments. Take care, everyone, and I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.